when should a business owner hire that first BDM? Because I was listening to a Duke Dodson interview not long ago, and Duke essentially said when he got to 300 doors, he said, I need somebody. I got to 300. He said it took me 3 years to get 300 doors or something like that. And then I was spending 15 to 20% of my time as a BDM. Thoughts on that? When should you hire that person? Mike, why don't you answer first?
That's a great question. It's hard because everybody's business is different. We may have waited too long, but I was at a meeting yesterday, a big conference here in town, like 2,000 people, a bunch of motivational speakers and everything. And one of the guys was like, how many people hire somebody before they're ready and they can't afford it? And in one hand, this person adds a ton of value to your company. They're going to help you get to the next level, but at the same time, you got to be able to afford it. So for us, we probably waited too long. I think we were at like 700 or 800 doors when we hired our first full-time BDM. But we had the benefit of having two partners, and both of us basically ran the BDM duties. We probably got to the point where we were both spending 20% of our time, and we were then like, oh man, we could be doing so much more. So I think it just depends. Everybody's company is different. I will say this, if you have the goal to expand and you have the free cash flow to do it, it's going to greatly increase your success and the trajectory of your growth in your company. So I would highly recommend it if you have the cash flow. Don't overextend. I just read one of my favorite businesses here in town. I just read that they're going into bankruptcy today, and it makes me so sad. Don't overextend, but at the same time, sooner the better.
Yeah, that's right. You and Adam both doing it made a difference, but eventually got to a size where you're like, we need to be leading people. We don't need to be taking sales calls. All right, Mark, what about you?
I think everything that makes me good in the BDM position was what made me horrible in the operations position. So I was lucky enough to have that yin and yang with my partner that he could run operations. My highest and best was the front, the reputation, the face, the marketing, and getting the right people to the table. So I think that ran its course long enough where it's like, all right, if we got to 1,200 doors before I replaced myself, but it was more of the point of like, all right, now I need to leverage my time a little more if we're going to take marketing to another level. If we want to start bringing hundreds of doors in, we're going to have to figure out how to get more leads. If we're going to have more leads, we're going to have more people call them. So it came down to the point where we were just forced to leverage it. It was the right situation. But there's a lot of people that are 200 or 300 doors that you're the best salesperson most of the time for your business. And if you have someone that's a better operator, or vice versa, some of you engineer property manager owners are not the best salespeople, and you should be tweaking your business and having a better face of your company. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, it's easier, I think, to hold on to it. I think it was easier for him to give that to me because I had a lot of reps in real estate already, right? I owned a bunch of rentals. I had been through it all. So it was very easy for me to talk, when we were just in Birmingham, very easy for me to talk to Birmingham investors, very easy for me to talk to California investors and help them understand the Birmingham market. So I think I agree. I think it's just based on your situation and what you're good at and what you're not good at. And then just being honest with yourself. Like, hey, somebody else can do this better, and let it go. I know that I've heard Brad Larson talk about this before a good bit. He's big on hiring them as soon as you possibly can. But again, to Mike's point, just make sure you've got the cash flow to do it.